On that, we turn to Democratic Congressman Tom Malinowski. He, like the rest of Congress, was on Capitol Hill on January 6th, 2021. Welcome back to the show, Congressman.
Thanks so much.
What do you think of the president's speech? Is he overselling the dagger to the heart of democracy that he believes Donald Trump poses?
I don't think he's overselling it at all. I think it was an incredibly eloquent and clear defense of the democratic principles that ought to unite all of us, Republicans and Democrats. Look, we know a lot more today than we knew on that terrible day. We know, thanks to the work of the January 6th Commission, that this was an attempt by a sitting president of the United States to overturn by mob violence a free and fair election in America. This has never happened before in the history of this country, and they came very, very close to succeeding. It was also an act of savage violence, the worst attack on American law enforcement since 9/11. And so I don't think the president was exaggerating at all.
I guess the way I want to ask this, Congressman, is it's not just Donald Trump. We said many, many times over the last 5 years that Donald Trump is the symptom, not the cause. Isn't it not just Donald Trump that holds the potential? Could it be a demagogue from the right or the left that abuses this system in the future?
40% of Republicans today believe that violence against the government is sometimes justified. Little over 20% of Democrats do, I'm embarrassed to say, as well. Not as high a number, but still much too high. More than Republicans believe in the big lie that led to the insurrection in the Capitol, that the election in which that Donald Trump lost was somehow stolen from him. That is a very dangerous set of facts. Donald Trump could fade into the background. Those would still be facts. And there is a movement across this country right now, in state after state after state, to install election officials who would be willing to do what Donald Trump ordered election officials in Georgia and Arizona and Pennsylvania to do in 2020. And that is to not certify a free and fair election if Trump's side loses again. That is a dagger aimed at the heart of American democracy. And it's the reason why January 6th is not in the past. This is something that is an ongoing threat.
Now, Congressman, Republicans would say, whether or not they agree with you on the point about those election officials, that Democrats are trying to tilt the playing field with some of these voting rights acts that have been proposed and have not necessarily gone through Congress. What do you say to that?
Look, I support legislation to make it easier for people to vote. I mean, I want it to be easier for people to interact with the government in every way, whether you're getting your driver's license at the DMV or you're trying to vote. As long as it's secure, as long as it has integrity, it should be as easy as possible. But set that aside. Like, I can win that argument, I can lose that argument, we can still have a democracy. But we're not going to have a democracy if we have election officials in states across the country who are only going to certify an election for their side, right? Even if their side loses. That's something unprecedented. We've never had that in America. We've always played by the rules. The winners take office, they don't have absolute power, the losers accept their defeat, and they live to fight another day. That's what's kept the peace in America for so many years. And there are a few Republicans who've had the guts to say it. Obviously, Liz Cheney in the U.S. Congress. In the state of New Jersey, Senator John Bramnick, God bless him, had the guts to stand up yesterday and say Republicans need to talk about January 6th. But I've not heard any other serious, significant elected Republican in the state of New Jersey have the guts to say the right thing. What
are the one or two biggest questions that you still have about what happened on January 6, 2021 and in the days before?
I think the committee, the bipartisan committee, is looking, quite frankly, at the role that the White House played in mobilizing the mob that attacked the Capitol, that attacked our democracy, and most important, what happened in those critical hours when we were trapped in the Capitol, when the police was being savagely attacked, when Republican and Democratic members of Congress, including Republican leaders, were calling the White House, begging the president to call off the mob. What happened in those crucial minutes and hours? We'll reconstruct that. and get to the bottom of it. And hopefully the Justice Department and others will follow the facts wherever they will lead.
Yeah, and last question for you. Should the Justice Department look at charging former President Trump with a crime?
Well, unlike Donald Trump, I'm not an elected official who says lock him up. It's not my place to decide who should be prosecuted. Elected officials should stay away from that. But I do believe that this tendency among some Republicans to blame only the rioters for the attack on the Capitol is somewhat like if we blamed only the hijackers for 9/11. Obviously, those thousands of people who stormed the Capitol didn't just spontaneously decide that morning, hey, let's go attack the Capitol of the United States and hang Mike Pence. There's more to it than that.
With all due respect, that remains to be seen. But thank you very much for joining us on this show.
Thank you.
Congressman, now, for a while in this lame duck session in the